Welcome back to the set of The Gloves Are Off. We've got a big-time NHL preview for you, and we're starting with a team that Brian Kern has a little bit of expertise with, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Both Brian Burke, Ron Wilson, both in their third season with the teams. We had some big cuts come out Monday. Nazem Kadri, Luka Caputi, they're done. But realistically, is this going to be another building year for the Leafs, or do we finally think that they might make some headway and playoff potential? Is it there?
Building, for me, it's still building. But a much more competitive team. They'll be right on the edge, to me, making playoffs.
Then who's going to be the difference? Is holding on to, I know they tried to trade off Caberlet, but do you think that he'll be the difference maker to maybe give them that potential for playoffs?
I think so. Like, look at their defense. They have, you know, like what Burke does is he builds from the back end up, right? And he's got great defense. Hopefully good goaltending, but I still don't think they're going to make playoffs this year. I really don't.
I think they just have to. Caberlet is going to be the interesting one. I don't like them giving him up, but I don't disagree with Brian Burke on he wants to get a lot. He should get a lot. This guy could be a premier. He is a premier defenseman. He has the ability to be an outstanding defenseman. So if he's not going to get what he wants, hold on to him. I think they're not going to make it, but I think they're going to be an exciting team to watch.
Before we go on to sort of their front line, let's talk a little bit more about that defensive unit. Dion Phaneuf wearing the C this year on his sweater, but everybody knows maybe he doesn't have the best chemistry in the dressing room with the guys. Nothing but good stuff. He's been very well spoken every time I've heard him speak to the press. Brian Burke has nothing but good things to say about him. I'm just worried that being in such a big market, maybe it's going to be another issue.
Well, you know, he's from Calgary, right? So maybe that was the big issue, right? He has all of his buddies there, and maybe there's distractions. Now he's away from that. Yes, he's in a big market, but he's a confident guy. If anybody talks about him, you know, he is that guy. So I think he can confident. he could wear that C. You know, I think with no problem.
I think they pulled him aside because Dion has the ability, in my opinion, to be a top defenseman in the National Hockey. No question about it. I think he's cocky and arrogant. That's what happened in Calgary. He wasn't a playoff contender, a player 2 years ago. I watched him in the playoffs. I was really disappointed he didn't compete. But I think, as anyone, they grow up, and I think Burke and Wilson have talked to him and said, you can be this if you do this. And I think he's going to be a great captain for him. If he wanted to. If he wants to.
Well, keeping to Calgary, then let's talk about Team Sutter. The Calgary Flames. Obviously, they brought back Alex Tanguay. They made a point of bringing back Olli Jokinen. Do you think that was a good move, or do you think it's going to end up blowing up in their faces?
Like, I'm a Calgary fan. I'm from Calgary. And I am not looking forward to this season. No. I'm really not. It looks like they're just trying to, you know, put old pieces back together. You know, where you look at Edmonton is they have that young team. There's something to look forward to. They're building where it's like you have, you know, Tanguay, who's, you know, past his career. Jerome McGinley wasn't the player he used to be. Still a great leader.
And who's he going to play with?
Yeah, there's nobody.
There's
you know
still
what I mean?
this has been going on for how there's still nobody for him to play with.
on the back end. He has to have a huge year.
But he is, again, one of the elite defensemen. But you know what? This is about saving a job. I think he brought experience back. And he brought guys with character and leadership back. You might say they're over. I don't think some of those players are over. I think they're going to get them through. They got another year or two left in their careers. They don't have anything exciting, but they have a bunch of guys that I think are going to work, and they're together a lot more. I think this is about saving Brent's job. And Daryl hired Brent to be the Mike Keenan of the hockey world, to not take any crap from his players. And put it back in the corner. Brent's a very good coach, and he needs to pull it out this year. But you're right in one way. I don't get excited too much about their team because there wasn't anything
Well, and
great.
you bring up Beaumais, where he's coming off his worst ever. Like, he's got terrible numbers.
He's a good player.
He goes from playing in Florida to Calgary.
I think the sleeper for Calgary, Morrison. I love that signing. I love it. He signed with them 1 year deal. I love that signing. I think it's going to be a good one.
Okay. All right, well, we have to take another break, but stay tuned because we're going to talk about the Habs and all the drama that goes along with dealing with the team in Montreal. Stay tuned. We'll be back with our NHL preview.